people see you as a hero. There are some who'd prefer the word vigilante. You've operated with unlimited power and no supervision.
First things first, Captain America Civil War is an impressive addition to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's even better than Batman vs. Superman, which came out earlier this year. That being said, if you've read any of the comics that the movie title is based off of, you'll be disappointed in the film's execution. Cap 3 also drops the ball on some aspects of the film, excluding the comic-to-screen problems. However, the pros far outweigh the cons with this summer blockbuster, and is well worth the admission price. Captain America Civil War is loosely based off the comic storyline of the same name. After an incident in Africa gets out of hand, the UN calls for oversight on the Avengers with the signing of the Sokovia Accords. All the while, the Winter Soldier shows up at the worst time. There's a lot more to the story, of course, but for the sake of spoilers, I'll stop here. With that all being said, if you haven't watched any of the trailers, I will be talking about things revealed in said trailers. These are nothing earth-shattering, but you've been warned. One thing I do want to mention is, like Batman vs. Superman, this movie is about accountability. Unlike Batman vs. Superman, however, Captain America Civil War does not focus on one event that just recently happened. While an event in Africa is the straw that causes the UN to call for oversight, New York and Sokovia are mentioned more times than Africa, reminding the audience that people in this movie universe don't have short memories, and do remember tragic incidences that transpired in the past. And while seeing New York getting destroyed in the Avengers was badass, for civilians in the movie, it was a horrifying experience. The story itself is really good. I enjoyed everyone who was back, and it felt like another Avengers movie I got to have without waiting 3 years to get another one. And let's face it, this is another Avengers movie with a little more focus on Cap. But let's just stop for a second and examine the title. Captain America Civil War would have been better named if it was called Captain America the Winter Soldier, and the sequel was called something else. The Winter Soldier is essentially the main focus of the entire movie, more so than the second film. Every action is essentially focused around him, a fact that was not the case in the comic storyline, FYI. Admittedly, apart from Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and Iron Man, everyone who appears in the film only has a small amount of screen time. Don't take that the wrong way, however. Many of the Avengers in the sequel Avengers film, Age of Ultron, only have a few more minutes of screen time than they do in Civil War. However, this leads to one of my biggest criticisms of the film. In the comic book storyline, the events of the Civil War consisted of virtually every comic in Marvel's lineup for the better part of a year. Marvel could have easily had the Civil War stretched out into a trilogy, if not an entire phase of the movie universe. In addition, there are too few characters involved in the story. We're only at the beginning of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and have yet to be introduced to everyone. And the storylines, like Spider-Man's, is greatly strained down into a secondary character in the film. In the comics, Spider-Man was a huge part of the Civil War. Outside of the comics, my only real complaint of the movie was around the main villain, who will be nameless. While their intentions and motivations could have led to something more, the villain never had time to evolve and grow, leading to a flat character that didn't offer the impact of all other Marvel villains. Granted, it can be argued that most Marvel Cinematic villains have yet to reach three-dimensional status. Also, there was a surprise I saw coming from miles away, but I don't really hold that against movies if I figure them out before they show their reveal. The two big questions are, however, how were Black Panther and Spider-Man? Both were amazing, mind the pun. Black Panther's introduction was cool, albeit his secret identity reveal could be seen coming from light years away for anyone who never read a single comic. I overall loved how Marvel handled the Black Panther, and am looking forward to the solo Black Panther movie coming out in the near future. As for Spider-Man, I was skeptical at first of the new actor and his portrayal of Peter Parker, but as his screen time continued, I grew more and more accustomed to him until he first arrived in the iconic suit. After that happened, I was sold. Spider-Man shines throughout the entire airport battle, which is clearly the best part of the movie. Spider-Man, while he was only in for a handful of scenes, feels and looks better than the whole Andrew Garfield Ultimate Cross Classic Universe mess. Spider-Man did so well doing the airport scene and with his interactions with everyone he fought that it felt like I was watching the actual comic book coming to life. The other aspect that I didn't quite go along with was how the movie fizzled out. While I won't reveal anything, admittedly the ending could have been considered left open for future battles in the Civil War, but it also could have been seen as a conclusion to said war. If so, this movie really didn't feel like a war took place and instead just a spat or quarrel between friends, which is more than likely the overall problem of this film. And I'm not jumping back to the lost in translation problems of comic to screen. This entire movie did not feel like a civil war happened. It was a heated disagreement, perhaps a falling out of brothers, but a war? No. Maybe if they didn't rush to the characters picking sides, maybe I would have bought that this was a war, but in my mind, it wasn't even police action. Apart from all that, I didn't really have any problems with the movie. The acting is exceptional, the fantastic action sequences all deliver. Most of the cameos feel like they have a good excuse to show up, except for Hawkeye. I even enjoyed William Hurt's return as General Ross. His screen time was just right, not too long, not too short, and his motivations fit well with the original character. Captain America Civil War is an awesome addition to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It hits all the right places, and I really enjoyed the 2 post-credits scenes as they set up new movies down the road. Even if the movie had some odd plot holes and lack of development for some characters and motivations, it is a solid chapter in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But do yourself a favor, and if you haven't read the Civil War comics, don't read them before seeing this movie, because you'll be disappointed in both the studio and the film. Well, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more reviews.